Welcome back. Now, the South African Union of Students is calling for an urgent investigation into racism at Stellenbosch University. That's after a white student was filmed urinating on a black student's laptop and books. Babalo Ndwayana has since laid a charge of housebreaking, malicious damage to property and racism against the perpetrator. The South African Union of Students spokesperson Asive Dlanjwa is joining me now to give us more reaction. Asive, thank you very much for your time. I know that there's a lot of investigations continuing. The university saying that it's launched its own investigation, and of course this criminal charges now being laid against the perpetrator. But I guess SAUS is not completely satisfied with that.
Good day, Masefo. Thank you very much. Masefo, I think we welcome the steps that have been taken up until this far. We welcome the fact that the student has also gone on to open criminal charges. But we will not accept anything less than an expulsion for that a criminal who did what they did. The reason, Masefo, I think this, we do not think this is enough, is that the incidents of such nature are not happening for the first time at Stellenbosch or for these former Afrikaner universities such as the University of the Free State. You will recall a few years back at the University of the Free State, there's at least been about 2 or 3 incidents. One where our mothers who were cleaners were made to drink urine by white boys in a white male residence, exactly as it would have happened in the manner of Stellenbosch. So this tells us that there is a culture that has been inculcated in these former white institutions. There is something about the culture of the institution that makes white boys believe that they are urine or that black people are deserving of being urinated on and their belongings urinated on. Because if it was an isolated incident, maybe we would have some level of mercy and so forth. But this is not an isolated incident. This has been the modus operandi that has been used by white racists in former Afrikaner institutions, which makes us believe this is what they are doing to our parents back in the farms.
Asive, I see in your statement you say that this is not the first attack which, the students at Stellenbosch University that my colleague Ronald Masinda spoke to would agree to. But you also say that the university is protecting, these incidents by unrepentant, racist and untransformed culture permeating the institution. So what do you want to happen to the institution itself if you're saying that the issue is the institution and not necessarily the perpetrator alone?
What we are calling for, number one, as far as the institution broadly is concerned, is that there must be an independent inquiry that will be set up that the institution must commission so as to investigate and go to the heart of the racism and the untransformed culture at Stellenbosch University. Why is this important? You see, much like at the University of the Free State a few years ago when black parents were beaten by white boys and their parents, when we said institute an independent inquiry which was done by the former Justice Van der Versteysen, it revealed the rot that is institutionalized, institutionalized into the university, which makes it convenient and conducive and permissible for such acts to happen. When you isolate these incidents, when the parents were made to drink urine, when the cleaners were made to drink urine, it was taken as an isolated incident, and we all assumed that life would go on back to normal. But life did not. These incidents carried on to happen, which began to show that in the culture of these institutions, there is something about them that makes it for these things to be permissible. So we must be able to say and go to the fabric and the DNA of Stellenbosch University and say, what is it that makes white boys believe that it is permissible? Let me tell you something, myself. You see, there is nothing as unnatural as even urinating outside the toilet pen when you are urinating. It is unnatural when you do it. You can imagine when you take it out and go do it and pee on someone and pee on their belongings and pee on their spaces. it tells you that there is something that made the white boy believe that they might be protected, two, this is permissible, and he has seen it happen before, and he has done it before, or his friends have done it before, and nothing happened. In fact, because I myself lived in a white residence when I got into institution at the University of the Free State, what happens is that even the people that are leading those residences, they know of these acts, they protect these acts under some guise of this is our tradition and this is our culture. So this is why we are saying institute an independent inquiry as to the whole culture of the Stellenbosch University and say, what is it happening? And then it will also be able to chart a way forward as to how do we transform that institution, because that is a public institution. We are going to fight for that institution. It belongs to all South Africans.
Now, lastly, Asive, these are the types of incidents that shine the spotlight. Yesterday, a lot of the students were also reminding us of what happened at Stellenbosch University in 2002, racist allegations even then and now in 2022, and the investigation from 2002, we still don't know what happened with regards to that. So do you think that government is doing enough to make sure that institutions may reintegrate or integrate all students, or do you think government just leaves the institutions to make up their own rules?
We are going to carry on to say that government is not playing the role that they should be playing in terms where we said this a few months ago, that government is not coordinating the sector as they should be. There is something, Masiho, that is creating and perpetuating this behavior. There is something that they call institutional autonomy, which gives institutions some level of freedom. In fact, this unchecked freedom to do as they please within the confines of this institutional autonomy, where government is afraid to intervene and where they make everyone else from outside afraid to intervene. And this elusive institutional autonomy has led to an institutional culture, as particularly in formal institutions, a racism institutional culture that you are seeing. So, in fact, what happened in 2002, it's not only in 2002, there has been more incidents between 2002 and this one that have come into the public eye. It just tells us that, and it's not only, by the way, the Stellenbosch University, and this is why we must be very concerned about this. It is UFS, it is UP, it is Northwest, all these institutions have been found wanting. It tells us that on a day-to-day basis, these things are happening. They unfortunately do not happen in front of cameras as when the parents were made to drink urine. So we must be very concerned about this, and government is not doing what they should be doing to ensure that when that commission was done at the University of the Free State, government did not come on board after they had seen the rot and the racism that is protected at the University of the Free State. You would have assumed that they would have come on board to say, how do they chart a way forward to ensure that the majority who are black students, by the way, are not victimized and oppressed in these institutions. They are being oppressed and abused on a daily basis. It just so happens that, unfortunately, not all of those incidents are caught on camera. So this is why all of us must be concerned about what is happening at Stellenbosch University and all these former Afrikaner universities.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time here on All Angles. Of course, this has angered quite a lot of South Africans, and it's another incident that actually brings to the fore how far we are really in terms of sorting out our issues as a country.